I'm just back from two important missions in Ukraine and in Turkey, in Jordan and in Syria, and I will debrief in a couple of minutes the ministers. And I must say that being the first European Commission's representative as going to Syria after the fall of Assad regime as Commissioner for Equality and Crisis Management was by itself a strong message. And I have to admit that it was well received by the de facto authorities. I had a very long and comprehensive discussions with al-Sharaa. Over than 2 hours of discussion. It was quite reassuring when it comes to inclusivity, respect of human rights, especially women's rights. But I was very clear that what counts are actions. So we wait strong decisions and actions on the ground. A first important step will be certainly the national conference he plans to organize in the near future. It's the de facto authorities' responsibility to build an inclusive Syria, a Syria where everybody is welcomed. So I have to say that the discussion was frank, open, and cordial, and we are waiting for the near future and the decisions that he is going to take. He also laid out the geopolitical challenges that he has to face, Syria's territorial integrity and sovereignty as well. He was particularly concerned about the situation in the northeast, with the violence that are still there. He expects to see the Kurdish accepting to be part of Syria, and he proposed that the Kurdish accept the Syrian nationality. So I will debrief the ministers mainly on 3 points. First, it is clear that it is a pivotal moment with immense political challenges, but also humanitarian and development challenges. Second, the political challenges are really significant. The humanitarian and development are immense. I announced 235 million euro on humanitarian aid to help Syrians, the refugees in Syria, but also in the neighboring countries. And we have already sent over 45 tons of medical education and other supplies in the northwest of Syria. And my third point will be on the sanctions. And there, the decisions, as you know, are with the member states. It will require unanimity, and the EU now has to choose. We must make a political choice. Do we want to play an active role in Syria's future, or do we want to let the ground to other actors? And this will be the choice of the member states. It will require unanimity, as I mentioned. All the Syrians I met hope to see the lifting of the sanctions. They want to see the businessmen back. They want to see the revival of their economy. And they think that the sanctions are linked to Assad's regime's crimes and not to them. So this is their expectations. And the European Union is clearly ready to play a role in Syria's future, and the upcoming Brussels conference on Syria will be certainly an important momentum. Now, on refugee returns, I spoke with many of them. Some of them want to go back to Syria, but of course, the majority of them are afraid and don't have the means to go back. We are working closely with the UNHCR. They are monitoring the situation to assess if the conditions are well informed, dignified and sustainable for refugees to go back in their countries. And for the moment, there is no expectations of massive returns. The situation is too unstable and fragile, and the needs are immense. The destructions are massive, and basic needs can't be met for the moment. Now on Ukraine. It is clear that European Union is really making the difference in the ground. The EU and its member states are the largest donors of humanitarian and recovery aid, over 3.6 billion euros since the start of the war. We have also put into action our Union civil protection mechanism. We have coordinated over 153,000 tons of humanitarian aid, more than 8,000 power generators, energy supplies. The medevac system also has evacuated more than 40,000 soldiers injured in EU hospitals. But the needs are still immense. We cannot rely on humanitarian aid and development aid. We must closely coordinate with development and private sectors. And tomorrow, as you know, it will be the sum. So the 5th senior official meeting on Ukraine, it will bring together officials and donors and partners to address their priorities. And Ukraine also offers critical lessons when it comes to preparedness. I visited CESO, this is their civil protection services, and I have to say that I was really impressed by their level of preparedness, their agility to respond to the different threats that they are facing. On Gaza, we are increasing our humanitarian support. We recently announced 129 million euro of humanitarian aid package for Palestine. We need unimpeded access. The ceasefire must hold, and we must also be ready to support the reconstruction efforts as soon, of course, as the conditions allow. A well-functioning Palestinian Authority is key for the two-state solution. We must support the Palestinian Authority in itself, and we must also continue to support UNRWA. There is no alternative to UNRWA. At the upcoming EU-Israel Association Council meeting, we will have to address certainly difficult issues, including the two laws targeting NGOs supported by foreign investment. I will debrief all the ministers on Syria, Ukraine, Gaza, and the question of refugees. And now, sorry. Yes.
Do you meet any representative of the Kurdish community in Syria?